Hey guys, we're going to get started shortly. I'm just waiting for students to arrive in the class. Tonight's class is a conversation, a discussion about pollution. What are the causes and what can we do? We'll start once students arrive in the class. We'll get started shortly once students arrive in the class. Hello, Amp.
Hi, teacher. I'm back.
Well, you better be. You're one of the reasons I'm here.
Yes, I was late in the class before. I was having the issues with my internet, and the technicians were here. So
Awesome. I'm upgrading my internet tomorrow.
nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guess what
Yeah.
speeds I'll be getting?
Yes. Do you use fiber
No, cable.
cable? Yes, me too. Yeah, but you're supposed to have a plan, but I wasn't receiving the speed that I supposed to have. So I was complaining, and finally they came today.
What kind of speed do they give you?
11 Mbps.
That's not bad.
No, no, but I supposed to have 7, and I received 1.5. So they changed the router today, and I hope it lasts for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine now. So I'm going to, well, mine's going to be upgraded by quite a bit. So I
Good.
think I'm going to,
You are not going to have any problem.
no, my speed will be 20 megabits.
20. Yeah.
And that's on the upload. On the download, I think I'll be around 250.
Hmm.
So yeah, I
It's supposed to be good.
that's very fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, we're not having this class here to talk about internet speeds, although as we saw from one of the other poor ladies, she kept being kicked out because of her internet connection. So we also have Jar. Hello, Jar.
Hello, Simon.
You know what, Jar? I think I've got an opportunity for you guys now. My throat's getting a little dry. And what I thought I'd do, since it's just the two of you right now, I want to give you guys 5 minutes of talk time. And I'll give you that if you have a bit of a debate or conversation about everything we've talked about: pollution, what are the causes, what are we doing about it, and if you can come up with any facts and figures too. Are you guys interested in that?
Yeah, sure.
I
Okay.
don't have statistics now. I have to browse because I
Okay.
don't have.
Well, then do your best, and I'll see if I can't find facts and figures and put them up there, okay? So go ahead, guys. I'll set you to 4 minutes because Francisco just joined us, and he doesn't want to wait 5 minutes to have a chance to speak, I'm sure. So go ahead, guys.
Yes, Jairi, where are you from?
I am from Brazil. What about you?
I'm from Ecuador. Well, your country is a big one, and but fortunately, you have the Amazon forest. You're supposed not to have too many pollution around your country, but I don't know if that true now with the deforestation.
Yes, I think there was big deforestation in the past, but today many companies and the government are trying to do their best to reduce and avoid deforestation. And you know, there are certain supermarkets in Brazil like Walmart, and they usually don't buy stuff from companies that are using Amazon to produce crops or to raise cattle, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes some areas are replaced just because they have to feed the farm and the cattle. The just change the structure of the soil and the damages that they cause are bigger. Um, that is a problem because people just is thinking about the to improve the financial situation, but they don't think a little more about the damage that they are causing.
Yes, for sure. But you know, today I think the society is a little bit more conscious, and the government and the companies, because they know they have some responsibilities, and if they work together, we can produce, we can use certain lands, but avoid deforestation and use better our resource as well. And I think if government, citizen, and companies work together, we can not solve 100% the problem, but we can improve the impact in the environment and Amazon, for instance.
And do you believe that the methane that is produced by the livestock is more than harmful than the CO2 that produce the companies?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think companies and cars, and for instance, you can reduce the emissions for sure if they work together, government and companies. But the animals, it is a little bit difficult to predict because we will continue have more and more animals because maybe because there will be more population in the future and we need to feed
Mhm.
people, you know. And yes, and maybe I think we need to change the way that we feed people
Yes, or
and
probably
ourselves.
try to use well said the organic waste that they produce. Try to produce another thing with this waste. Trying to maybe produce a kind of fuel with this and avoid a little more to spend a lot of water than in the way that they are wasting now to raise these animals.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think we'll become more productive in the future and maybe we'll reduce waste and emissions for sure. But we don't know how much, you know. We know that some governments have been doing some, uh, they are compromised to reduce, but you don't know how much, you know.
Thank you, guys. All right,
Okay.
next, I'm glad to see we are now joined by Francisco and Omar. And look at this, Jorge's here. That's great. We're filling up here. Okay, so what I want you to do, Francisco and Omar, I'm going to give you 4 minutes to have a discussion. I hope you read in the group chat. I've given you a link to all these quotes here I've taken from a web page, and there's a link at the bottom of the page. You want to go there. And again, the topic is pollution, global warming. What are we doing to our environment and what can we do to resolve it? So guys, I'll give you 4 minutes to have a discussion starting now.
For me, if you didn't mind, I think that Actually, we talk about two issues: the amount of pollutions and the type of pollutions. So I think type of pollutions is for human is more harmful because it's more to be chemical and something difficult to be analyzed.
Okay, Omar.
Uh,
Now you're not giving a speech. Remember, it's a conversation. So you're talking with Francisco. So
uh-huh.
have a discussion with Francisco about get his input. See if he agrees with you.
Okay,
Okay.
Omar, well, first, where are you from, Omar?
I am from Saudi Arabia,
Pardon me?
Middle East.
Ah, right. Okay, well, I agree with you with pollution. But what do you think that the world is doing about this problem, about, I don't know, fighting against pollution, or do you think that term we are going to have a better world? What do you think?
Uh, well, I think that the countries or the companies that the big companies that is main role of it to collect, some money. I think they are somehow ignore the environmental issues, and they are, even our food, as you see, we taking the food not healthy like the one before. So most of it have some chemicals, some servant, so I think it's will be more worse in the future.
Okay, yes, I agree with you. Well, I think obviously maybe some countries or most of the countries in the world are doing nothing to fight against this big problem. So I think that we have to react quickly. Uh, First, I think that education is a good way. Maybe teaching our children not to be dirty, or maybe they have to clean
Not to pollute.
trash.
Mhm. Yeah, even if you go to some countries that they are not interested in, take care of the environment and take care of the waste. Yeah, I am agree with you that we should start from, our children first before, spread it to others. This is the base that we should start from. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And second, well, in a second term, it could be maybe the big companies. Maybe they could help a lot, because I think big corporations are doing nothing to struggle against this problem. I have seen a lot of big corporations, well, still are contaminating the world. I don't know. We are talking about automotive uh, plants or companies.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hey, Jorge, I know you're new to the class, so I want you to please take a look at the link that I've just pasted here. That's not the link. In the group chat.
Yes, yes, I am checking it.
Excellent. Okay, so we're having a discussion here. This class is all about you guys talking. I want to get you guys to tell me your thoughts. And I don't mind if you disagree with each other. I don't mind if you debate each other. In fact, if you want to take a contrary view just for the discussion, that's fine. Again, as long as we're respectful, guys, I don't mind. I just want to create a rich discussion. So there's many quotes or facts on this page. I want to know what you guys think. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pair you up. So Omar.
Mhm. Yes.
Oh, actually, hold on a sec. You just spoke. I'm just trying to remember. So let's see. we're going to do it differently this time. So I'm going to do Amp and George or Jorge. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I'm only going to give you 3 minutes this time. Go ahead, please.
Uh,
Well,
are you there, Adam? Yes.
yes, yes. What do you think
Yo-
about this?
Oh, well, I just disagree a little with I think it's Omar, regarding to companies are doing nothing about the pollution. I am working in a company which is building a web application uh, to to handle saving consumers. So the idea is that a user installs some sensors in factories and buildings, and
Hmm.
then our application gives them reports about what if you have these devices to on or to off or in idle state, and then you can doing uh, two things. The first is you save money, and the second one is you contribute with the planet. So you are doing your part. You are doing to the two things. And also, I agree with the I don't remember who, but something say somebody says something about the education. So that's why I I don't have a car. It's by election. It's not because I don't like cars or because I don't can to buy
You
a
can
one.
help. Yeah,
It's
that
just
is
because
part of your contribution.
yes, I believe in the public transportation, and I believe that or I would like that all cars in the planet must be electrical cars. So
Yes,
in that way we can reduce.
for example, here we have the numbers about how much water they use for produce the meal is coming from the chicken or coming from the cows, but we don't have the amount of water that we use, for example, to produce paper. Maybe we are wasting the same amount of water, or and we are not so responsible when we can find a lot of uh, trash in on the sea, and when we wash the car, and we use a lot of water to do it instead of water that is recycled, for example, from your washing machine. You don't care about this, but now you are concerned about how much money do you use. Oops.
All right, thank
Yeah.
you very much, guys. Okay, next, I promised that Francisco and Jar would have a chance. Francisco and Jar, again, we're talking about sources of pollution. We're talking about things we can do, and we're talking about how we can improve the environment. What do you guys think are the most critical things? Go ahead, please.
Jair,
Hello, Francisco. Where are you from?
I'm from Mexico.
Great. What do you think about the pollution in Mexico? I have heard that in Mexico City there is uh, pollution a lot.
It's one of it's one of the biggest cities in the world. We have like 25 million people living there. So there are a lot of problems referring to pollution. Well, we have a mess there, but well, I think the government is still struggling, is still fighting against this problem. And the Mexican government has come up with some solutions. And 3 years ago, the government forced the companies to not use paper anymore. So they are doing billing and doing some reports, most on most in electronic way. Uh, and the government has been coming up with some solutions to putting more strength, more well, forcing the truck owners or the car owners to have a better maintenance, to have a better maintenance of their cars. But still, there are a lot to do. So I think you are from Brazil, Jair. How do you think? What are the things that your government is doing for to fight against this problem?
In fact, I think in Brazil they are doing nothing. We should need to do more for the environment and to avoid pollution and to produce more and to waste less and maybe to recycle more packaging, for instance. And yes, I think Brazil is doing less than it would be possible. But I think now the Brazilians are more conscious about the environment. For instance, you can see in many houses, in many cities, people are separate
Sorry,
the
gentlemen.
waste, for instance, and plastic from organic food to recycle.
Sorry, I got to
Okay.
stop you, Jar. I got to give everybody an equal amount of talk time here. All right, next it's Omar paired with Amp. So again, I'm showing you more information. Again, this is from a website. You must assume there is some amount of bias. You don't know where they got all their information from. A lot of this does look pretty good, looks factual, but again, use your own judgment as well. So, Amp and Omar, again, the discussion of pollution, what we're doing to our environment, the amount of water that's used to produce certain types of food. What do you guys think?
Yeah, but
Okay.
whatever that we are going to eat, we are going to need water to.
Well, I read something before that they said that in agriculture they use about 80 to 90% of the water, but I think it's not it couldn't be it's not be a pure water that it's used for human. I mean, if it is for implant or whatever, so it's not a big waste of water, the pure water, not only water. I think this 2,500 gallons for only 1 pound of beef. I think it's not true. What do you think?
No, the numbers are shocking. There are a lot of the numbers that it seems incredible to believe that because well, it's supposed to have a pound of egg, for example, you need almost 500 gallons of water. They are counting every single uh, I don't know how they calculate that,
If I
but
can
Maybe.
interrupt, well, I think when they use numbers like this, they're
mhm,
not just talking about the water to feed the cow, they're talking about the water to grow the grass to feed the cow.
yeah,
They're
mhm,
talking
mhm,
about water used in every aspect, washing
yeah,
the
yeah,
cow,
yeah,
cleaning the facilities,
mhm,
everything.
yeah.
Uh-uh. But I think they are not talking about recycling, because if they talk about recycling, this will be a fake or a bias, okay, in their calculation, because the cow is making some exerts something that it's used for implant itself. So there is something of recycle that they ignore in this research. What do you think?
Yes, my thought is just located in the time before the industrialized, and we have a better situation in our planet, not too many gas emission. I know that probably there are no many livestock like now, because it is part of the industry that have to feed all the population. But I think that the subject is because we have two of these principal causes that are all the methane that is produced by the animals, but also the CO2.
Thank you very much, guys. Okay, next we have, let's see, we have, it was jar and amp, right?
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
next is Francisco and Omar. Sorry, Francisco and Jorge. Francisco and Jorge, you have 3 minutes. And one of the things I'd like you guys to address is, do you think these figures are correct? Are they misleading? Go ahead, please.
Hi, Jorge.
Hi. Uh, this is I want to ask you something. It's not regarding that Simon said, but it's just a question that I got. Do you think that in some point in the future, uh, will we have a lack of food for all the population in there?
Well, I think maybe in 20, 30 years more, we're going to have uh, we're not going to have enough food for all the people in the world. So water is a big problem. Here in Mexico, we are suffering a lot from water. 2 years ago, we have an extensive drought. So unfortunately, in these 2 years, we have a lot of rain, but still the world needs water. So we have to do something to save water, or maybe to distribute water in a better way. Where are you from, Jorge?
From Colombia.
Okay, okay,
So
right.
you say from now until 2 years, uh, we are good with the food, but after that, we are going to have problem with that, right?
Yeah,
3 years. I mean, this is close to now.
yeah. Well,
So
what I've heard in Colombia, well, is one of the big gardens in the world, the library.
yeah, fortunately, we have I can say enough food for us, but actually, or in fact, we are starting to buy from another country some basic foods like rice, and that is a thing that is uh, bad for us because uh, we were auto-sufficient with the rice, but we are not now. So it's appear that this is an indicator that things are going, or maybe things are bad right now. But it's interesting, I would believe that maybe in 10 years, in 15 years, we are going to have problem with food, but I don't think that in 3 years, mm, we are we are going to feel the consequences.
Okay. Do you think that?
Gentlemen,
Okay, sorry.
it's okay. Just want to make sure everybody has an equal amount of time as best as possible, guys. Okay, now it's Omar and Amp. Now I'm going to scroll down so we can look at some other information. They're talking about land in this case. Okay.
I just was reading that part of the say that animal agriculture contribute to species extinction in many ways, but they don't explain how. Um, I think more than the animal agriculture produce that. I think that the pesticide that you use to grow the all these crops are more harmful with the pesticides and chemical fertilizers that you use. Um, because with the rain, all these fertilizers are going to end on the river and on the sea, and we are contaminating this water. And then the process to have to get water that is able for the human, it implies a large process. And but I don't understand why they said that contribute to this species extinction. Maybe you have any idea, Omar?
Um, well, I'm not getting it really, but I think that the amount of water that they mention, it's yeah, it can be account by different issue, but when I put the water in the ground, it's actually collected, it changing our weather, so it have another benefit on another issue to clean the weather. The water make the implant alive, and it exchange the oxygen, so it have some positive effect rather than the animal eating this issue which collected in this part. But I don't know what livestock covered 45 of the earth in total land. I'm not getting this information right.
Seems a little high, doesn't
Well,
it?
it's supposed to have the almost the half of the earth land, but in many places that there are deserts nowadays, that places where you cannot find the water at all, and it is completely desert, and in this area they cannot live at all. So how can they live? They can cover the 45%.
Well, let me just interject here. So I think what they're referring to is when they talk about land, they're talking about arable land. So
Well, it's another.
Well, it is, but also there are places like in California where they are growing food in deserts, and if it wasn't for irrigation, they wouldn't be able to grow as much food as they do. So there are cases where they are growing food in deserts, but like I said, I want you guys to be critical of this information.
Yeah.
But they are not collected. Some human. You said one cow is make pollution more than 100.
I'm sorry, I can't stop you because I want to give another group of you guys a chance to speak. But
yes,
write down that thought because you'll have a chance to speak again. Okay, now Francisco and Jar, go ahead. It's your turn. Be critical of these facts.
Okay. Hi, Francisco again. I think the big problem with animal agriculture is related to the cattle, because chicken and pig are usually raised in confinement in many countries. What do you think about that?
Yes, well, here, Jair, the big problem, well, is cattle, yeah, because they consume a lot of water. They, well, talking about the grass that they have to harvest to have food for these animals. Yeah, I agree with you, but maybe we need to get back to another kind of sources of food. Maybe, I don't know, maybe in the future most of
Okay.
the animal be or make sense, but we need to look for another alternatives. Maybe only agriculture, only to get back to old times. What do you think?
Yes, I agree. I think in the future we need to change the type of of food that we use to feed the world, in my opinion, because there will be more 2 billion people in 2015, and there is only 20% of land that we can use or they are available to plant crops, for instance. And I think the cattle meat will be more expensive, and because of that we need to decide if we want to raise a cattle or to plant crops to feed the world.
Okay. Do you think that someday cattle or the animals will be forbidden, or they will, well, due to that, to the high costs of the meat, maybe they are going to disappear or something like that?
I'm not sure. I think chicken will continue growing. Maybe pig, pork, but I'm not sure. But I'm sure that the cattle in the future will be more expensive and less available for many people around the world, for sure. And the consumer, when the price becomes so high, they usually change one product for other, or they reduce the consumption, for sure.
Okay.
And
Do you think that the technology could help
Gentlemen,
in?
time is up.
okay.
All right. Jorge and Omar.
Yes.
So,
Omar,
some
are you there?
of these facts do seem a little bit suspect. I think there's certainly an element of truth in them, but I wonder about some of the figures. They seem a little bit too inflated. What do you guys think?
Uh, well, Omar, are you there? Omar.
Yeah,
Omar,
yeah, I am with you.
stop talking
Yeah, I am with you.
before.
Yes.
Yeah. I am not an expert in this area, so but I would believe that yeah, that the numbers in these sentences in this article it appeared the big ones, I actually I am starting to feel scared because, for example, larger mass extinction
Hmm.
in 65
But
million years. So, oh my God. So, what do you think? Are these numbers inflated? So, do
acres
you
of
think that
land, 2 to 5 acres of land is used by only a single cow. So it's I think it's too much than the real amount.
so
What do you think?
maybe, yeah, I would believe that maybe the numbers used in this article have the intention to increase our awareness about the pollution, but I have several doubts about the reality about the numbers. Mm, but well, I suppose that it's okay. It's okay. If the idea of the numbers are to make us feel how can I say yeah, to make us feel worry about this problem, they are doing great because I am feeling like that. So
Uh,
it's like oh well, I have to do something for the planet.
Yeah, they said here in the last every 1 minute, okay, 7 billion pound of excrement are produced by animals raised for food in the USA. So it should be also orientation to people that they are not, throwing a lot of food, especially animals, and they can, make a shortage in this issue. That is, of course, it will make pollutions in the world. But I think it should be, yeah, it should be under control, but it's not be exaggerated more. Yes.
Right, thank you. Next, you can tell I'm changing up the pairing a little bit. It's Amprem Francisco. So yeah, we're moving down to the discussion about waste, and obviously with the amount of animals we have, that is a bit of a problem to manage. Maybe there's opportunity in that as well. What do you guys think?
Well, I think that what I learned when I was at school is that these waste produced by the animals can be used like organic compound. So I think that the industries are just trying to move these numbers in order to say that it's unuseful to raise these animals, and they try to gain more money producing the fertilizers that they do by chemicals. If you change this, probably the industries are going to lose money, and that is why they are trying to focus all the blame in the livestock. What do you think?
Well, I think I agree with you, but maybe I think that the world well has to change because livestock produces a lot of waste, and besides that, well, the methane that they produce, the gases, so they are dangerous. Or we are finishing with our environment. So, well, maybe I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
I suppose that the activity, yes, produce waste, but I don't think that it would be more dangerous that the what they produce, the fertilizers or the pollution that produce the industries. I don't think so. Well, at least we live at the city, and maybe the only thing that affect ourselves and we can see and we can perceive is the smoke from the industries and the cars. But if you go to the farm, you cannot perceive openly that you are producing so big damage to our world.
yes, maybe we don't observe that damage, but well, it's a
Yeah.
huge damage because the methane that they produce, well, are finishing with our environment. So maybe cattle livestock is like the gas. We need to look for another waves of fuel. But I think that someday the governments in the world have to do something about it. So we have to maybe to get back to another alternatives for food. Maybe
All right, thank you very much, guys. All right, now we're getting down to the subject of oceans. We can see there's an awful lot of waste, but how are we affecting the oceans? Jar and Jorge, I'd like you guys to explore this. Go ahead, please.
Oh my
Hello,
God,
Jorge.
I have no idea about this, but I think that people who wrote this article hate animals, you know. It's like yeah, like animal are bad and human are well less bad. But what do you think? What do you know about the oceans? Right?
Um,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know a lot. Hello?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
I okay. I don't know a lot about the ocean, but I know that today, for instance, when people threw away plastic, some uh, animals like turtle, some fish, they usually eat they may confuse because they think it is food, and many animals are dying today because of that. And the global warming is a problem as well, because when the temperature of the ocean increase 2 or 3 degrees Celsius, many animals need to move from that place to another, and some of them can die for sure.
Right, yeah. Also here in Colombia, I have heard that uh, fishers are complaining about that there are no fishes in the river, in the ocean. It's appear that I don't know, the how can I say that, the excess of the activity, the excess of the I don't know if that is the word, but the hunting fishes is is overlooked, and mm, there is a, how can I say, dangerous situation right now because the population of fishes are decreasing drastically.
Yes, yes, I know. And I think some problem that we have today is some companies, they usually don't respect the right season to fish, and because of that, the population of fish are decreasing year by year. And yes, it is sad, to talk about the environment, the oceans, and realize that we are destroying as human being. We could use our resource better, and we could use and extract resources more conscious, and protect the environment, because it need to last for many years ahead.
Yeah, yeah, it's a shame that we it's probably that uh, we won't have some species anymore. So we are suffering the beginning of the extinction of some wonderful animals in the ocean, like some kind of sharks, turtles, and so on. So, Simon,
Yeah, for
are,
sure.
Yes.
are you there? I would like to ask you, what is the verb for hunting fishes? I mean, the
Um,
activity, the
well, fishing.
fishing, but
Yeah.
is that a verb or an a?
We are fishing for marlin. We are going fishing.
All right,
Um, Now, there's commercial fishing,
all
right?
right, all
So
right.
that's
Thanks.
not a different term. Then you can be more descriptive by saying we're clear net fishing. Now that's not a term. I don't know what they call it when they use these big nets, but we could say we are net fishing, or we are using. You would use the type of fishing to describe it as an adjective, right?
All
But
right,
commercial fishing is probably what you're referring to. That's where most of the damage is done. Unlike cows, um, farmers have to look after their stock. They have to know. They know how many calves they have, how many cows, how many bulls. They make sure that they keep an eye on the population. Whereas fishing, nobody does anything. Nobody keeps an eye on the stocks unless you're fish farming, right? You just go out there and you take fish from the ocean. You don't know how many is there. You just keep pulling out of the ocean. And that's why it's a little more difficult to protect fish in the ocean, because, well, there's no boundaries between nations. And there's no real easy way to know how much fish is in there. We just assume there's plenty of fish, and really that's certainly not the case.
right, all right. Thanks,
Okay.
thanks for your opinion.
Okay, good. All right. Let's see. I'm going to have Amp and Omar go next. And now, I think this is our last topic here. They're looking at rainforests. Now, rainforests, well, forests in general, they're important because, for one, it's how we get oxygen. It's one of the greatest sources of oxygen, and we need that. There's also a large diversity of life. Where that is beneficial is for trying to find drugs. So that's very important. So that's all I'm going to say. Guys, go ahead, please.
Yes. Um,
Yep.
yeah, I hear that. I think in Amazon area, from time to other, they find some material which can be benefit in medication and in treatment of some issue. Um, so.
Yes, I know.
Uh,
I was visiting a community in our Amazon region, and yes, they have some kind of plants that they use for medicine, and they don't need to come to the city, and they survive with this kind of medicine. But is that is into natural uh, state. But unfortunately, nowadays, for example, there are some oil companies that are arriving to this area, and then the situation is changes.
But they right here it's the animal agriculture responsible for destroying of this Amazon destruction.
Well, in this area, no, it is about cattle. It's more about the oil companies, the people that use the wood from the trees for the industry, and they are just deforesting the area. And because of the oil spill, is when these area are contaminated, and because they disappear, the noise in the area also have produced that some species abandon the area. They don't find, they are like a loss because this is a normal habitat, and if you invade it, well, you change all the process. Oops.
Have I lost anybody?
No, I'm here.
I
But
didn't catch
Yeah.
up for any.
Actually, do you think that taking the trees for using the wood for building or for other, it's not overcome the new trees that is come in this area?
if they are foresting again,
I mean that they are using the trees, okay?
yeah, yeah.
Some people destroying this tree in the
Hmm.
Amazon area, okay?
Hmm. Hmm.
And they use this wood for building, for furniture, or blah blah blah.
Exactly. Hmm. For
So
paper. Hmm.
yeah, and there is new tree as are growing. So do you think there is balance between them?
No, definitely no. And you know that the species that they take a long time to grow, and they are trees that they have been living there for more than 100 years. So to have this height and to have the height and to produce the oxygen that they are producing, it's the same here in the city. For example, some species that were natural here, they were replaced for another kind of species. They are plants, they are tree, but they don't produce the same amount of oxygen.
So you think that people should find substitution to the to the use of wood rather than use the wood using other material.
Yeah, it should be.
Well,
So
I think one thing that we've learned here today is um, we're kind of surprised at the different facts and figures out there. We think that they might be inflated. We're not sure if these facts and figures are accurate. But one thing it's got us doing is thinking. Now, what I think would be really good to do is to take some of these figures that you saw and research and look up, is this a load of hogwash or is it real? If it's real, well, that's sad, because then we're faced with, what do we do? How can we change? Some of the figures I saw, while surprising, made sense. We've got a lot of animals, they produce a lot of waste. The bigger the animal, the more the waste. I get that. It takes a lot of water to produce things. I know that too. I work for a water utility. The average person, how much the average person uses in water a day, it's amazing. Every time you flush the toilet, it's like a couple of gallons of water or 8 or 10 liters of water that's flushed down. Low flow toilets maybe do 6 liters. The food you cook, you use water to wash your dishes. The eggs you bought, well, those chickens required water. Whether it was recycled or not, there was still water that was used. So when we look at all these numbers, yeah, it tends to add up, and I tend to believe some of that. Some of it seemed a little bit far-fetched. But it doesn't mean it isn't true. I don't know. I would have to do some research, and I think some of you should do the same too. If you were interested by today's conversation, well, that's a good activity. It gets you reading and practicing more in English. Today's been a busy day for me. This is my 3rd class in a row. My throat's a little sore, and I'm going to go take a break and relax shortly. I don't have any classes planned for tomorrow or the weekend, but I will be doing some classes. My internet is being upgraded tomorrow, so depending on when that's done is when I'll have time to book classes. I don't want to book classes until that's been upgraded. And Saturday and Sunday, I'll be teaching classes earlier in the day. But for now, guys, that is it. There's not enough time to have another conversation, and I'm a little exhausted, so I'm going to end class just a few minutes early. Thank you so much for coming, guys. I really appreciated your input, and I hope you learned something today.
Thanks,
Thank
teacher.
you.
Yeah, for
Take
sure.
care.
Thank you.
Yeah.